So the answer is yes. We're currently working on modernizing our entire application portfolio. So I can answer it from a different standpoint. We can look at it from a process and technology standpoint. In that land, we've gone through application rationalization exercise to assess the state and risk and the technical viability of our application portfolio. We are also working on our target architecture along with the transition sequence. We're working on the transition sequence and the target architecture, but we do have a high-level concept of how the end state look like. So the transformation sequence will base on service areas. For example, we may start with the data analytics services. That particular area is ripe as far as the business readiness and the technology feasibility goes. So we've completed what they call master data management study, and the recommended approach was to set up a data lake platform in elastic and scalable compute environment. So we're looking at some of the open technologies like Hadoop on elastic computing platforms. Area we're looking at things like Amazon Web Services. Hadoop in particular is a compelling technology stack because of its inherent capability to store large volumes of data and files in many different forms and to add on demand processing whenever we need to. Hadoop stack paired with the elastic computing environment really meets our business objective, meaning seasonal data submissions and reporting spikes that ETA business units encounter at the end of every quarter. The other area that I can talk about is our business process management service area. So our BPM platform is well underway using BPM on, again, AWS platform. Once we finish that BPM platform, we can effectively displace 30% of our legacy system, and that's a good chunk of cost saving for us. We're also looking at other solutions for remaining service. Just off the top of my head, it'll be Drupal. We're looking at Drupal content management system on cloud for our multiple websites that we have. Because our modernization effort takes most of our assets to cloud, we are looking at the cloud governance framework, which in my opinion may be the most critical piece of all. It's so critical that we have one full-time senior level federal staff dedicated to work on this fully and exclusively in the past 3 months. Nothing but this, the cloud governance framework. And it is important because the traditional technology governance framework doesn't fit well in cloud service delivery model. Lifecycle management of cloud apps can become very unruly, and so our cloud governance, we hope that it will address some of these concerns that we have. So this framework will cover things like security and auditing, proliferation and sprawl, making sure the integration and interoperability with current on-premise systems that we have. And another big thing is portability. Make sure there's no vendor lock-ins, and there should be a process for application provisioning, and monitoring, auditing whenever we need to, service level or SLA management, and also quality of service management, how to set up meaningful and enforceable service levels and things of that nature. Again, things like security, change and configuration management are handled very differently in the cloud. Let's just pick security as an example. We need to know who decides on applying security patches on which virtual machine. What happened when there's a security incident involved? Who does what during the incident response process? And things of that nature. As far as people and organizational aspects goes, we are working hard to attract and retain top talent that meets today's IT challenges. And we're also continuously defining roles and responsibility of IT that accurately reflects the reality of technology today, and that's really hard to do. In my shop, you will no longer see positions like system administrators, network engineer, help desk technicians. We now have roles and positions such as enterprise solution architect, application integration specialists, full stack developers. They are really important and hard to find. Data scientists for big data and data analytics type platforms. User interface and user experience specialists. I don't have that on federal staff yet, but hopefully soon I will. Service manager for financial services. That means metering and monitoring and billing in the cloud environment and so on. We're also doing a lot of training. We take training very seriously, even though we have a very, very finite amount of training resources. Within the last year or so, we've trained more than 20% of our federal staff in Agile project management, ITIL, AWS Certified Solution Architectures trainings. So we are getting our workforce ready so that they have skill sets and mindsets that they need to do their job better. We're also working on getting Drupal CMS training for our federal staff and web group.